The American border czar Tom Homan took some questions outside the White House yesterday, emphasizing the need for mass deportations and the threat of Iranian sleeper cells within our country. But before we get to that, my name is Blake Cresses, and this is Trending Politics. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay up to date with all political news. So, all Americans are acutely aware of the disastrous effects that the Biden administration has had on our country, particularly regarding the open border crisis that he facilitated, the mass invasion of our country by over 20 million third world migrants, completely unvetted. We have no idea who they are. Many criminals, murderers, rapists, violent attackers were allowed into our country. This was facilitated and this was intentional by the Democrats. Now, what fewer people are aware of is the fact that many of these invaders come from enemy nations of the United States, such as Iran, such as China. And now, with the tensions brewing in the Middle East, Americans are fearing that there are possible Iranian sleeper cells who may or may not commit attacks in major American cities on major American holidays like July 4th, which is coming up in just a few days now. So Tom Homan, in front of the White House, spoke to some reporters and answered questions regarding how ICE is planning on dealing with this situation, while also stressing the need for Congress to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill so that ICE, the department, will have more efficiency in facilitating these mass deportations and enacting the will of the American people, because we voted by an extreme majority to get every single illegal immigrant out of our country. Right now, we're doing a decent job, but ICE simply doesn't have the funding. While Trump has successfully shut down the southern border, we're not letting anybody through. We're still not quite getting the deportation numbers that we want. That's what the One Big Beautiful Bill is all about. So we're going to jump right in and watch this video right now and see what Tom Homan has to say.
Sir,
may I start?
Conrad's Gateway. What are your thoughts on potential temporary passes for illegal alien farm workers, hotel workers? I mean, is there a plan to go after them later?
I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that. I know they're discussing that. I'm part of those discussions, but I'm not going to get ahead of the president. We'll see what they come up with.
Mr. Homan, last week ICE arrested 11 Iranians passed through border during Biden administration. One of them was a sniper for Iranian army. The other one while he was arrested, he had firearms on him. Given the fact that the Iranian American community are feeling threatened by the regime from Iran, can you confirm that there will be further crackdown on illegal Iranians who've passed the border during Biden administration?
Well, so far there's over 200 arrests of Iranian nationals. And again, President Trump committed from day one, the priority is going to be public safety threats and national security threats. So we've been on this since January 20th. We didn't wait for the Iran conflict to happen. We've been working this, but we put our foot on the gas after what happened in Iran a couple weeks ago. We're going to identify the national security threats. It's just not ICE, it's FBI, it's the Department of Justice and the intelligence community. We're focusing on national security threats, not just Iranians and others, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're keeping President Trump's promise. That's what we were prioritizing.
There's widespread fear among...
If you're in the country legally, you should be concerned. It's not okay to be in the country illegally. If you're a national security threat, you should be working. We're looking for you.
But there's widespread fear among Iranian Americans that some sleeper cells have moved into the United States during the Biden administration. What do you know about these so-called sleeper cells?
All Americans should be concerned about sleeper cells. Look, under the Biden administration, you opened the border. We got over 2 million known gotaways. That's not a guess. Over 2 million people we know, based on video, drone traffic, sensor traffic, across the border. They paid more to get away. We know who they are, where they came from, where they are now, why they're here. Right? So why do 2 million people pay more to get away? You pay the cartel amount of money to get to the border, turn yourself in a green uniform, right? Or you pay more to get to New York, Chicago, and not be arrested. Why? Why didn't they pay less to get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, a free hotel room, 3 meals a day, free medical care, and work authorization in a few months? Why did 2 million people not take advantage of the free giveaway program, pay more to get away?
So are you saying that
because they didn't want to be vetted, they didn't want to be fingerprinted. They could be the ones that are trafficking in fentanyl, they could be ones trafficking women and children, and they could be national security threats. Sir, I said from day one, the Biden administration, I said for 4 years while he was president, when they opened the border up, they created the biggest national security vulnerability we've ever seen. And that's just a fact, and we're seeing it play out.
Lastly, there's a
Right
fatwa.
now
There's a fatwa issued by two of the Iranian ayatollahs against President Trump, citing that if he attacks the supreme leader of Iran, it would be halal for Shiite followers to kill him, to assassinate him. Are you aware of that fatwa, and what's your response to it?
Look, it's a little out of my lane, but we got the strongest president in history of this country in office right now. So I don't think that worked out very well for him.
So are there a Marine station right now in the San Diego area helping with border protection? If encounters have dropped as dramatically as we know that we've seen the numbers drop, why is it necessary for a Marine presence to be there near the San Diego border?
Because it's a national security issue right now. I think we all recognize the national security temperature right now is at a high level. We're going to take every opportunity we can to secure that border and make sure we don't do what Biden administration did and let the gotaways. Let me give you, for example, having those resources on the border now, on an average day under Biden administration, we had 1,800 gotaways that we knew of, that we counted in 1,800. You know what they were today? 18. So we got that border locked down.
So then why is it necessary for the Marine presence to be there in addition to the regular border?
So there's less gotaways. The more resources we have, the more people we stop from coming in the country. Especially right now during national security, the vulnerability we have right now with Iran and other countries, I'd rather have too many resources than not enough. Because once you make that mistake, there's no going back. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you talk about that a little bit further in light of the July 4th holiday and what security threats are being watched right now, concerns about sleeper cells or other things that have been in the country?
Like the DHS put out a threat assessment 2 weeks ago, I agree with that. We're in heightened alert status right now, so every American needs to keep their eye open. Again, there's several places to report suspicious activity. You go to DHS hotline and report it there. But look, today we have the most secure border in the history of this nation. You can have some comfort of that. But the reason we have the most secure border in the history of this nation is because of President Trump's policy and having DOD assets assist border control on the border. That's why we have that most secure border, which is why we need the big, beautiful bill passed. Because that puts more border control agents on the border, maybe relieve DOD assets. That puts more ICE agents on the streets of this country to arrest more public safety threats and national security threats. I looked at numbers this morning. Over 200 Iranian nationals have been arrested by ICE and brought in. With more resources, we do more than national security work across the country. But right now, we got well over 20 million illegal aliens in this country. We got less than 5,000 deportation officers. We need the bill to get more agents on the street. We need more detention beds, because everybody rest needs to be a bed before they get removed. And more contract work, so badges and guns who have immigration authority aren't sitting at a desk doing keystrokes on some administrative duty that can be done by a contract to put that badge and gun on the street to look for these national security threats. Big, beautiful bill's important. We need that passed right away.
So you heard it here first. Tom Homan really tells it like it is, probably better than anybody else in our federal government right now. ICE has arrested over 200 Iranians just so far. That's just in the past few months. You know, we have no idea who are actually still out there. But he also says that truly, very bluntly, every American should be concerned about these possible Iranian sleeper cells within our country. And once again, this is all thanks to Joe Biden specifically and the Democratic Party as a whole that facilitated the mass invasion of our country purely for political gain. You know why they do this? A lot of people don't know why they do this, but it's because they believe that if they import hordes of the third world, they will simply, and then, by the way, treat them better than they treat American citizens. You heard Mr. Homan describe all of the insane handouts, taxpayer-funded handouts, by the way, that these illegal immigrants got. Free flights all across the country to a city of their choosing, hotel stays, debit cards, cell phones. You know, import these people, treat them better than you treat American citizens, because American citizens sure as hell aren't going to vote for Democrats. But eventually the plan is to give them amnesty, give them voting rights, and then you solidify Democratic rule forever. That's their game plan. That's the end game for the Democratic Party. Of course, we're going to stop them. We're going to deport all these people. But in order to do that, we need to pass the one big, beautiful bill. And a lot of Republicans, a lot of fake conservatives, rhinos, libertarians, are stonewalling the bill in Congress right now, particularly Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, pretending, hiding under this ploy that they're simply budget hawks and that the bill spends too much money and it raises the debt ceiling too much. First of all, The border is more important than the budget. If you don't believe that, go vote Democrat. The border is the most important thing in the world, because at the end of the day, if we deport all of these illegals and we stop letting them flow into our country, we're going to be spending a hell of a lot less money anyway in the long run. Right now, we're subsidizing them. We're paying for their health care benefits, Medicaid, Medicare. We got to get them the hell out of here. The budget does not matter right now. I'm not saying it's not important, but the border supersedes it. And when you have these budget hawks saying, oh no, we're spending too much money shutting down the border and on these ICE agents, that's all borderline treason, quite frankly, because it is the most important issue. The American people voted for mass deportations, and these budget hawks trying to stonewall it, they're effectively just helping the Democratic Party. And honestly shilling probably for their corporate donors who want to hold on to their slave labor and don't want these illegal immigrants to get deported, because they can pay these people pennies on the dollar in comparison to what they're going to be going to have to pay the American people. So we've really got to get that bill passed. The budget, quite frankly, does not matter at this point in time. The border is the most important issue, and immigration is always the most important issue. And Tom Homan is so right in saying that we need to get that bill passed so that ICE can truly facilitate these mass deportations that the American people voted for. We need numbers in the multi-millions per year. Right now we're looking at maybe a million per year. That's a real stretch. But with this one big beautiful bill, we can truly enact the will of the American people. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. Stay up to date with all political news. My name is Blake Cresses. You can find me on Instagram and X at Blake Cresses, just my name spelled out right there. And this has been Trending Politics. I'll see you in the next video.